This is the verb, or the verbs, da imam and da iskam, which mean to have and to want, respectively. So there is, now I've already taught, if you haven't seen the dasam video, you should definitely look at that if you don't know the pronouns already. If you do know the pronouns, then this is perfectly fine. So when it comes to conjugation, this isn't the same as dasam, but it is very close. So, but I don't know if I explained infinitives in the last video. Anyway, if you haven't watched the last video, if it isn't there, I should mention it now, just to let you know, or just to remind you. So for infinitives, in Bulgarian we don't really have infinitives, but when we're talking about a verb, or when we're using it in what would be the infinitive form, so infinitive in Bulgarian really just means when you're talking about it, in which case we use the first person singular, or basically the conjugation for when it's I who is doing it. So it's like I am, I have. You take that pronoun, not the pronoun, you take that form of the verb that matches with the pronoun I, or us in Bulgarian. You take that pronoun, that verb conjugated to that pronoun, there we go, that verb conjugated to that pronoun, and you add da before it. Da means both yes, and it means sort of to. So if you have heard people who are good at talking about languages talk about verbs, they wouldn't call the verb to read just reading. They would say to read, or to be, or to see, to have, etc. In Bulgarian, we say da whatever. So da gledam, da imam, da sam, da iskam, da nyamam. If you're a Shopi or a Macedonian, da sakam. So we use da instead of to. Other than that, very similar. And now I will get into infinitives in more detail at a later time, but just that you understand what I'm saying when I'm talking about them. Dasam, da imam. When I say da whatever, it means I'm talking about a verb. I'm not saying yes to anything. So we have imam and iskam. These are two separate yet similar verbs, to want and to have, or imam to have, iskam to want. So I'll just go over the conjugations for each one. These are also consistent. These are in the conjugation group. So these are very consistent, very easy ones. This is at least the easiest group for me. It's my favorite group, actually. It's really nice and very kind of expected, very plain group, if you ask me. So yeah, we have imam and iskam for us. So as imam, I have. As iskam, I want. And then we have ti imash, ti iskash. Imash means have, or you have. Iskash means you want. So if someone asks you iskash li chai, that means do you want tea, for example. And then we have toi, tya, to, ima, or iska, which means he, she, or it wants or has. And then we have nie imame, we have. Nie iskame, we want. Vie imate, y'all have. And vie iskate, which means that you want. And then te imat, te iskat, they want, they have, they want. There isn't really too much for me to say. I've read them out. It's not unusual for people just not to be able to inhale the information like that. These are all the endings. So if you look, the root is im or isk, and then everything else is what comes afterwards. So that's what changes. So the at, ate, ash, whatever the ending is, that's what's changing. So make sure to learn these endings. These endings are close to the other types of conjugations. They're close to some. They're not that close to some, but they're closer to some than say Spanish conjugations, any of them. So they're not really too far off. Some actually uses the exact same conjugations for nie and vie. That use the exact same endings. So this is something that you just need to practice. Most people won't just be able to inhale this information, but with a little bit of practice, it will be pretty easy and hopefully pretty quick.